And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Structure Studios 101 in Pool Studio Blue. Today, by request, we're going to be talking about swim lanes or swim lane stripes, tile stripes, or whatever it is that you want to call them in the bottom of the pool with a new function in version 2024.1.1, which is the latest version. And I'm going to assume that it's the last version update before version 4 drops sometime later this year. So in the meantime, none of these are going to change. None of this stuff is going to change. It's all going to be the same in version 4. So let's jump right into this. Let me show you how to do this real quick. Before we get started, this works exactly like coping, draw mode, in hardscapes and decks. So if you are familiar with the hardscapes and decks coping draw mode, then this shouldn't be an issue for you. It is relatively simple, pretty straightforward. We're going to be in stage 5, pools and spas stage. And you can't do this in 3D. You got to go into 2D because we're going to be drawing stripes in here. And I have a reference pull up here. We can do some other stuff. So for residential pools, you want to add some swim lanes or something. This is a 50 by 20 generic, just to kind of show you guys the function in the program. These stripes are going to be anywhere from 6 to 12 inches wide. I believe these are 8 inches wide is what I have drawn here. With I think like 6-inch caps on the end for to anchor them off. So again, this is going to be pretty easy. So what you're going to do is you are going to be in 2D. I have my grid set at 1 inch. I'm going to detach my panel here, move it over to the side. I have my snaps just on grid, and I'm going to detach that panel. I'm going to sit over here because I want to be able to see it. If you are new to grid and snaps and you're looking to advance your grid and snap discipline because the program was designed to be used with a grid and line snap system, and you've never used grid and line snap systems, but you have all of the geometry error issues that come along with not using the grid and line, I would recommend that you detach these two panels, place them over here to keep them in sight and in mind instead of out of sight, out of mind. That way you can constantly be toggling these on, and you can move these anywhere you want to and set up your workspace however you like. So for these videos moving forward, I'm going to go ahead and just start detaching these and placing them over here so that you guys can kind of get familiar with that. And once you are familiar with getting on the grid system, on the line snap system, and you're familiar with the tools and how to use all this stuff, then if you wanted to clean up your workspace and have a nice clean workspace, then you can move these back simply by clicking the reattach button or the attach button right here, the little arrow. Click that, it's going to snap it back to where it used to be. You want to unsnap it and detach it, just click that, and then you can move these anywhere you want. You can also move these onto side screens if you have those, but let's just keep them here for now so that we can see what's all going on and what snaps I'm using and what grid size. I'm always on a 1-inch grid, never anything greater. I'll sometimes, a lot of times, go down for really detailed work all the way down to a 1/4-inch grid. But for this, we're going to keep it simple. 1-inch grid. The only snaps that are going to be checked are my grid. My relative angle is going to be checked. Autocomplete's always on for me. And that's just the snaps that I use. Okay, so let's jump right into this. So how this works, Pools and Spas, version 2024.1.1, Structure Studios. Highlight the pool just by simply clicking the pool. Make sure that it is a pool, that you want a stripe pool. And then down here in the bottom, you'll see a floor design mode that was recently incorporated. So all you do is click that. Again, see that? It works exactly like coping draw mode in hardscapes and decks. It's going to highlight it with a green. That way you know that the function is activated. So now you can just start drawing. So A for line and just draw your stripes. So here you see that if you come over here to your floor design mode, you have width. I'm at 8 inches, and you can go left, right, or center. These are great. These are great tools, it used to be just top or bottom or left or right, but then they added the center button by request. There's a lot of work to to get them to incorporate that, but they finally did, and it's a great function. Now we can work from center points on center of our whatever it is that we're drawing. So again, just it depends on what you're drawing that you're going to just it's going to determine if you're going to be using center or if you're going to go right or left or whatever. For this, we're just going to use center. So again, my stripe is going to be 8 inches. I'm just going to get up here, A for line, make sure that I am snapped to my grid. I'm going to go 2 inches on that side. And I can Control C, Control V, and just copy paste if I wanted to do that. And while I'm still in the function, you see it's still highlighted. And then if I wanted to grab this line and then copy paste, I could copy paste this as many times as I like. Um, and there you have it. So let's move this down a little bit. I don't think I'm quite in. This is not really centered up. Usually you can find the center point. Oops, I was still activated. Find the center point like this. I always pop me some red guideline just so I kind of know where I'm at on the grid. And then I can come back into my floor design mode and grab my line and center it up if I wanted to do that. And then I could pull off my lines. Let's just say I wanted 6 or 8 feet on center. I could do 8. There's 8. And let's go. This is not wide enough for 8. So let's just do 7. So it looks like we're on 7. And then I'll just make me another guideline like this. I'm still in floor design mode, so that's okay. And then just move this guy down just like that. So now I know, see I'm on my longitude line here. Now I know I'm centered up. I'm 7. Always delete, if you're in pools and spas and you draw yourself guidelines, always delete those out, because when you start to add your steps and benches, it could possibly snap to that line. And if you delete that line and you've already done all the steps and benches work, it'll delete it with it if it's linked to that blank line. For whatever reason, the program likes to link to blank lines instead of the actual pool or spa complete shape. So just be careful if you're drawing guidelines. Just make sure that you are deleting those out of the way. So there's a quick tip for you on that. So here's a 7-foot spacing. These are 6-foot spacing, I believe. And then you can come into your material stage and you can double click the line. It's going to highlight all of them, and then you can just change the color to whatever you want. If you wanted to do, let's just say I wanted 3 different color stripes. If you double click the stripe, it's going to highlight everything. But just like any other group, you have to double click again. You see I just highlight the one, hold control, click, and click. And we're going to go red, and then click, click, hold control. I'm holding control, a white, and then we can do like a blue, see little stars and stripes. And there we go. See, you can do all sorts of really cool stuff with it. You just have to know how to break the groups. So if I were to come in here and click that, you see it's going to be grouped. But just like any other group, you have to, if you want to get in and break into the group, you double click again to select whatever line that you want. Then hold control, and then you can select you can select other lines by just holding control. And then I'm going to release, hold control again, click, click. Oh, actually, click, hold control, click. See, and you can do it that way, just like any other grouping in Structure Studios. So it's very, very simple, very, very straightforward, but you can do a lot of cool stuff with it. Very much needed update in the program itself. Let's go back to pools and spas. We are going to, let me get another pool here and just show you some other things that you can kind of do. Let's delete all these out of here. There we go. And now you can do, if you wanted to stripe this thing out, you want to do some kind of funky design, you could do, you could certainly do that. You could do, you could even do some yin yang if you wanted to do that. So you do, cool stuff like this, different different shapes, whatever you draw. I mean, it's pretty much it's a design mode. You can just draw whatever you want. And then when you come back in, see, you're gonna have whatever it is that you drew in the floor design mode itself. To keep in mind that these are stripes. You can't, really draw shapes because it's going to stripe it. So you have to, understand that aspect. Um, these are just strictly shapes or lines, not shapes. Um, so, I mean, that's pretty much it. See, really cool stuff. I mean, you can just do whatever it is that you want to do. If you wanted to, be creative and, do something different, and funky. You got a funky client, you want to do some funky stuff, and they want some inlays in the bottom of the pool, to match, maybe some circles. You have some circle kits in the yard if it's a free-form pool, and you can do different things like that. So it's a lot of cool stuff that you can do with this function. Um, but again, very, very simple. Floor design mode in pools and spas. If you go into, if you select your pool, it's going to activate right over here in your right-hand panel. Floor design mode, you just check it. In 2D, it's going to highlight it green. You start drawing exactly like hardscapes and decks, coping draw mode, and that's it. So let's see some funky designs and get creative with it. Let's see what you got on the creative side with this new floor design mode function. But for pool lane, swim lane stripes and stuff like that, this is absolutely perfect. For those of you who do a lot of stuff, a lot of commercial type stuff with the swim lanes and such, this is perfect. This is the way to do it. And you guys are going to be a lot more accurate in your representation by using these tools in the toolbox. So let's see what you got. Let's see those creative stripe designs in your floor bottoms, and then we'll see what comes out next with the tools. I do have a request in for more terrain type tools for more complex sculpting. For pool bottom. So basically, it would be just like terrain mode tools or terrain stage tools, but for floor bottoms of pools. So you have smooth tools and elevation heights. You can set different things, and I know they have some tools for custom floor bottoms that you can work that are like the terrain stage, but I'm talking more like a smooth tool, your height tools, your elevation tools, things like that, where I can customize, really get in there and smooth things out. Because if you use the terrain tools or the let's see the multiple pool slope is what I'm trying to say. If you use these multiple, you know that it's it's not really. If I set this at 3, and then let's just say I had like a, you know, or like a dive basin or something down here, and this is 6, but it's in like this area. I say 7 feet, and I come in here. You see how it kind of drops off. This one doesn't look bad, but if you come into certain corners with those really complex slopes, you're gonna see um, some really funky geometry angles and stuff. So a smooth tool would be really good. So getting off subject, but yeah, that's kind of what we're looking forward to in the next update, and trying to push the developers to get us just a couple more tools in the pool slope toolbox instead of just your multiple and single. So you have like you'll have your smooth tool, and you'll have a couple other tools over here that will be beneficial for us, just in case we do those complex pool slopes in the bottom with our floor design mode, and then you can get in there and really smooth that out, just like you can on terrain. So anyway, thanks for the request. any requests that you have, you can post up in the Facebook group, VIP 3D Core Essentials, of course, or you can post up in the community, the member community chat on YouTube. You can put pictures, reference images, anything like that. So if you have a request, be sure, please, to provide 2, 3, 4 reference images. The more reference images that you have, the better, especially on houses, front, sides, and rear. Property address, so I can, if something pops up on Google, I can see the roof line on the top. Or if you have a set of, like a top-down plans or roof plan or something like that for new construction, you can upload and post those images on the YouTube community chat. Otherwise, go to the YouTube group, VIP 3D, or I'm sorry, the Facebook group, VIP 3D Core Essentials, and post over there, and we'll route those into the right direction and help you guys out as much as you can. I appreciate you guys. We'll catch you on the next one. Let's see some cool creative floor design mode stuff, and post up in the group and post up here on YouTube, and we'll catch you on the next one. So always be creative.